Greetings, dear people of God at Trinity and beloved friends beyond. Thank you for joining me for this week's Reflections from the Other Side. It wasn't that some of the 4th of July fireworks displays were canceled due to the drought or overcast weather or the pandemic. It was just difficult for me to feel patriotic this year, to feel excited about celebrating, especially in the wake of the latest Supreme Court ruling that the EPA doesn't have the authority to induce utilities to switch from coal to renewable energy under the Clean Air Act without additional authority from Congress. And this on top of the repeal of Roe v. Wade. If there was to be a community gathering on the 4th, I'd have preferred a rally or a protest, but we were staying in stillness at Stinson and not attending any protests. But I hear that a huge proportion of the town of Bolinas turned out for an inspiring homegrown rally for choice where even the children showed up. I wish we'd been there. It turns out that Michael and I had the honor of sharing an outdoor meal that afternoon with Alexis McGill Johnson, president and CDO of Planned Parenthood, and her husband Rob. They had attended that morning rally, and they told us about it. In the time after the U.S. Supreme Court rescinded the constitutional right to abortion in America and thereby allowed nearly a dozen states to outlaw the procedure, Alexis, along with Planned Parenthood, has worked feverishly with 3 goals in mind. She calls this the Summer of Defiance. She wants to get women where they need to be to access abortion, whether that means helping patients cross state lines or flying doctors to states where abortion remains legal. Then, she wants to win in state courts. Planned Parenthood, the Center for Reproductive Rights, and the ACLU have filed 11 lawsuits seeking to delay abortion bans or, perhaps optimistically, strike them down entirely. What we can see, essentially, is just a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, and a lot of concern for patients on the ground being able to get the care they need, Alexis told us. What we've also seen is a significant amount of rage. But that rage will power her 3rd goal, to win at the ballot box. Chaos, confusion, and concern, along with a whole lot of rage. This is now Alexis McGill Johnson's life, which is why she said she was taking that afternoon to gather in the company of beloved friends and a bunch of pelicans, to be still together, to enjoy one another before the red eye. In the chaos and confusion and concern that we all inhabit in our own lives, as well as in this world today, we all need that stillness to survive, to move through, and to move on. My dear friend Becca Stevens wrote this beautiful piece addressing this need that we have for stillness in the midst of such troubled waters. She says, "When things get stirred up, the waters get muddy. All the silt and dirt of anxiety swirls around and we can't see clearly. Take a glass, pour in some beautiful pure water, then stir in a bit of dirt and try to look through the glass. It's not until we set the glass down and let the dirt settle that we can see through the water. We work through the troubled waters and we wait, and then we finally see clearly the path before us. We patiently use our cultivated daily practices when times are rough as well as when times are not rough. And then suddenly, one day, the skies open up and we find peace and healing like an unexpected gift. Love heals as we calm ourselves and make room to feel revived. Let us practice this stillness in the midst of the chaos and the concern and the rage. It's the practice of a contemplative activist. It's the practice of St. Francis, St. Clare, and Jesus, who knew the power, the renewal that comes from resting in the Spirit. God calls us to mystical activism, a deeply rooted spirituality inspired by our encounters with God, in nature and in our hearts, and our commitment to our spiritual practices to bring beauty and healing to the world. Walking in the footsteps of Francis and Clare and Jesus, we are called to be mystics, mystics of the here and now, not some distant age, but right in the midst of the chaos and concern. So here is a blessing from Jan Richardson to calm your spirits as you take a moment of stillness in the midst of your lives of prayerful activism. To all that is chaotic in you, let there be silence. Let there be a calming of the clamoring, a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on you, that have made their home in you, that go with you even to the holy places but will not let you rest, will not let you hear your life with wholeness or feel the grace that fastens you. Let what distracts you cease. Let what divides you cease. Let there come an end to what diminishes and demeans, and let depart all that keeps you in its cage. Let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where you find the peace you do not think possible and see what shimmers beneath the storm. Amen.